Guy Madison lists the LGBTQ stars from the old Hollywood movies. His dates were secret. He was born in Kern County, California on January 19, 1922 as Robert Ozell Mosley. Madison came from a poor family because she was born during the Great Depression. His early years were shaped by small-town beliefs, and he didn't want to be an actor at first. After graduating from Bakersfield College, he studied animal farming with the goal of working in agriculture, but the start of World War II quickly changed his plans. It was during the war that Madison joined the U.S. Navy and did a great job as a radio operator in the Pacific. Serving in the military shaped a lot of his personality. It taught him discipline, patriotism, and humility, all of which people would come to associate with many of the parts he would play later on. Madison's life took a terrible turn while she was on shore leave in Hollywood in 1944. Henry Wilson, a talent agent, found him because he thought he had the looks of a movie star. Madison's first movie part was as a clean-cut soldier in David O. Selznick's romantic drama Since You Went Away, which came out that same year but didn't give him any credit. A choice that hit home with Americans during the war. Even though Madison had never been in a starring role before, his first movie got a huge response from fans, and Hollywood quickly took notice. He got a deal from Selznick and was soon being trained to be a star. In the late 1940s, Madison was in a number of movies that played up his all-American image. These included Till the End of Time, 1946, in which he acted with Robert Mitchum, and Honeymoon, 1947. At first, Madison got mixed reviews from critics because he hadn't done much acting before. But as time went on, his natural charm and honest acts won over audiences. His biggest success came when he played the lead character in The Advent. Years of Wild Bill Hickok, a hit TV and radio show that ran from 1951 to 1958. Madison became a bigger star in pop culture thanks to the show, a Western based on the real-life frontier marshal. Madison played Wild Bill Hickok with a mix of stern courage and friendly warmth. He wore cowboy clothes and had an assistant named Jingles, who was played by Andy Devine. It was one of the first shows to be shown on both TV and radio at the same time, and millions of people watched it. He was admired by both kids and adults, and the way he was portrayed in American movies helped make that time a golden age for Westerns. His picture was on lunchboxes, comic books, and even cereal boxes. He was a regular at rodeos and public events, and he always treated fans with respect and kindness. Madison continued to act in feature films throughout the 1950s and 1960s, even though he was popular on TV. He was in a lot of westerns and action-adventure movies, like The Charge at Feather River, 1953, which was known for using 3D sound effects in a new way. It became less popular to make Western movies, so Madison moved a lot of his work overseas, especially to Italy, where he starred in a lot of spaghetti westerns and war movies in the 1960s. These European productions kept his work going strong, and people all over the world became familiar with him. Even though these movies didn't always have a lot of money, Madison always played his parts with professionalism and honesty. The years went by, and Madison slowly faded from public view. In the late 1970s, he stopped starring, but he was still a popular figure at Western conventions and classic film festivals where fans of all ages would come to honor Wild Bill Hickok and the golden age of Westerns. Madison won the Golden Boot Award in 1996 for his work in Western movies and TV shows. This was given to him in recognition of his lasting influence on the genre. Gail Russell and Guy Madison got married in 1949 when he was at the height of his fame in Hollywood. A fellow star whose haunting beauty and emotionally charged roles in movies like The Uninvited, 1944, and Angel and the Bad Man, 1947, stunned viewers. The public thought they were a great match because they were both young, attractive, and working their way up quickly in their jobs. That being said, their partnership was full of emotional problems behind the scenes. Russell was a very sensitive and shy woman who also battled with severe social anxiety and alcoholism. The stresses of living in Hollywood made her problems worse. Even though Madison was there for his wife at first, he couldn't handle the emotional toll and instability that her inner turmoil was taking on him. While Madison's acting career was taking off, including his lead part in The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok, the couple grew farther apart emotionally and physically. After 4 years of marriage, they finally split up in 1953, and their divorce was finalized in October 1954. Even though they broke up, Madison was said to have stayed kind to Russell during her problems, even though their lives would go in very different directions after that. In an unexpected change of events, Madison got married again soon after his divorce from Russell was finalized. He married actress Sheila Connolly in Juarez, Mexico, in late October 1954. At the time, Juarez was a famous place for quick marriages and divorces. Madison liked the outdoors and family life, and Connolly did too. She was known for her parts in 1950s movies, westerns, and dramas. At first, their relationship looked safe and loving. They got married, started a family, and had 3 daughters, Bridget, Erin, and Dolly. Madison allegedly took great pride in being a dad and tried to balance his time in Hollywood with time with his kids, even though he grew up in a big family. But the stresses of working in the entertainment business and Madison's frequent trips for film and TV work in the US and Europe started to hurt their marriage. The pair had been splitting up since November 1960, and they got a divorce in April 1963. Even though they were no longer married, Madison kept a friendly relationship with Connolly and was involved in the lives of their girls. Madison started dating actress Gia Scala in the years that followed. Scala was stunningly beautiful and of Italian and Irish descent. She was known for her roles in movies like The Guns of Navarone, 1961. Some of their friends said that their relationship was strong and emotionally complicated, even though they were never married. Scala was known for being charming and open, but she had also had problems with sadness and alcohol, just like Madison's first wife. Even so, she stayed close with Madison. According to biographical sources, their relationship was so strong that before Scala's sudden and strange death in 1972, she named Madison as the beneficiary of her share of the Screen Actors Pension Fund. Many people saw this as a sign of deep love and faith, and it proved that they would always be connected, even though their relationship wasn't typical. Guy Madison also had a son named Robert Madison, who would become an actor like his father did. He had girls from his marriage to Sheila Connolly. While Madison was starring in European movies, mostly spaghetti westerns, in the 1960s and 1970s, Robert was born in Italy to a different woman. Madison spent a lot of time there with Robert. Robert built up a good playing career for himself in Italy, appearing in both TV shows and movies. Even though they lived in different states and generations, the bond between father and son was strong. Guy Madison is said to have helped and guided Robert as he dealt with the difficulties of working in the entertainment business. He did this by sharing both his professional knowledge and the qualities of resilience and adaptability that had made his own career possible. People knew Guy Madison as the square-jawed, soft-spoken star of westerns and war movies for decades. He was best known for playing Wild Bill Hickok in the long-running TV show The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok. In the 1940s and 1950s, he was a star among women thanks to his rugged good looks, quiet personality, and boy-next-door charm. But Madison's tough Hollywood persona and carefully crafted public image hid a much more complicated and private life. It was shaped by the strict moral rules of the studio system and the constant fear of being found out as gay in a time when homosexuality was strongly frowned upon. In a memoir that was published after his death and was made up of interviews and personal letters, Madison opens up about the hidden parts of his life. For example, he talks about his romantic relationships with other actors, many of whom were also closed off and had to follow the same strict rules. It's the first time that names and faces from Hollywood's golden age are revealed without scandal, but with quiet pride as men who loved and lived in secret because they were afraid for their careers because even a hint of homosexuality could ruin them. The way Madison writes about her thoughts shows how strong, wanting, and connected people can be. In this honest account, he talks about his friendship with Ramon Navarro, the famous silent movie star Best, known for his part in Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ, 1925. Madison writes that Ramon was more kind, pious, and smart than anyone thought. Somewhere in West Hollywood would be quiet, or we'd sneak off to Palm Springs and say we were there to rest and relax. We found peace, but not the kind of peace we could talk about in public. His words about Tyrone Power, the swashbuckling matinee hero whose bisexuality was rumored but never proven while he was alive, are also warm and loving. Madison says that Power was charismatic and torn because he had to deal with 2 sets of expectations, company contracts and personal truths. When the cameras stopped rolling and the masks came off, we got to know each other during the last few years of his fame. When it was quiet, we were just 2 guys trying to figure out what love was when everyone else wouldn't see it. Madison also gives out the name of Anthony Perkins, the crazy star whose sexuality was mostly kept a secret among people who worked in Hollywood. Madison says that their relationship didn't last long, but very strong. Madison remembers that Tony was young and scared, and he was never sure how much he could tell someone who knew what was at stake. During those intense months, we were both excited and worried. He looked over his shoulder all the time, and for good reason. Madison talks about his relationship with Rock Hudson, whose death from AIDS in 1985 changed the way people talked about gay in Hollywood in a big way. Madison says that their relationship is both happy and sad at the same time. Rock had a golden boy's smile and the mind of a man who had to break himself down to stay alive. The only time we spent together was on the weekends in Big Bear, or at his hideout in the canyon, where it was quiet. But even times that are stolen can last forever. Madison is careful not to make things too exciting in his works. His voice is thoughtful, respectful, and full of kindness that comes from having been through the same thing. These weren't just names or trysts, they were real relationships in a world that didn't always allow them. He says that we didn't date the way most people think of dating these days. It was sneaky, coded, and careful, but it was real. We have fun. We held each other, looked at the morning, and talked about the lives we wished we had lived in the open. Besides being revealing, the book shows how fear and secrecy hurt the mental health of gay men in Hollywood in the middle of the 1960s. Madison talks about how stressful it is to be in a studio contract with a morality clause and the constant fear of being in a tabloid. And